Right Honourable Speaker, I join the Right Honourable Prime Minister in seconding the motion to pay tribute to a fallen son of the land of our ancestors and a very faithful servant of his people. Right Honourable Speaker, we can never get used to death, and death is such a shameless event that again has robbed us of the prominent Ugandan, retired Col Engola, former State Minister for Labour, Employment and Industrial Relations. On my own behalf and on behalf of the alternative government, I convey my deepest sympathies to the bereaved family, the people of Yam North, the people of Langos Aboriginal, the Parliament of Uganda, and the people of Uganda for this unfortunate loss. Honourable Speaker and colleagues, this is particularly true in light of the life about the foreign colonel well enumerated, a life intently lived for a service as a gallant soldier who has not only made a contribution to the legislation process of this country, but has also served in various capacities as an army officer, district leader, and as a minister. It is sad that retired Colonel Col Engola has passed on at a critical time when you are yet to conclusively deal with the regulation of labour externalization that was so close to his heart. We nonetheless are cognizant of his contribution when he took a decisive stance in cancelling licenses of non-compliant labour agents. He was courageous and we applaud him for that courage. That Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the death brings to light the sacrifice made in the past as the command of the UPDF 501 Brigade in Ichuli, where retired Col Engola played a pivotal role in containing the LRA and restoring peace in northern Uganda. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, today's sitting as we pay tribute to a fallen comrade and colleague, we are reminded of a similar sitting we had in the 10th Parliament, those of us who are here, following the gruesome murder of the late Honourable Ibrahim Abiriga and his bodyguard in June 2018. Today's case might be a little different, since the bodyguard who allegedly assassinated the honourable colleague also took his life immediately. The invitation I am making right on the Speaker of this August House is that we should not have closed our minds to the various murders of ordinary and high-profile Ugandans, like the late John Kagezi, the IGP Andrew Felix Kawes, several Muslim clerics, among others, that we have witnessed since 2016. Right Honourable Speaker, 2 days after Honourable Kelo's gruesome murder, another Ugandan, Ibrahim Tusubira, Ichuli, like you have mentioned and observed ably, was gunned down within the same neighbourhood of the foreign minister. Right Honourable Speaker, allow me to draw the attention of this House back to the address of the President that he delivered on 20th June 2019, in which he outlined a 9-point strategy intended to deal and defeat with insecurity in the country. I will particularly single out his directive to install security cameras across the country. and the fingerprinting of all legal arms in the country. Right, Honourable Speaker, the directives were followed with a supplementary budget allocation of more than 376 billion. But unfortunately, the killings did not stop, and they have not stopped. Nor have the cameras been effective in detecting the criminals, which explains why the state has not yet succeeded in prosecuting any of the cases in court. Right, Honourable Speaker, strangely, even the cases that have happened under the cameras, like one of February 2020, when the police truck deliberately knocked dead Rita Nabu Kenya, were not captured. Are these real cameras or dummies, Right, Honourable Speaker? Right, Honourable Speaker, the police have turned there with another request of 187 billion for the next financial year to buy more of these malfunctional cameras. Right, Honourable Speaker, we are only lucky that the gunman who took our honourable colleague's life killed himself. But had he disappeared, the investigating officers would be feeding the country on a return of explanations like they do when asked about the extent of investigation into the previous killings and the May 2021 assassination plot against Jero Katumba Wamala, the Minister for Works and Transport. One wonders if all guns were fingerprinted, Right, Honourable Speaker, as indicated by the security budget requests. Whose gun is being used to kill Ugandans? Whose gun was used to kill Ichuli? At least we know whose gun killed our honourable colleague, which is very, very sad, Right, Honourable Speaker. Right, Honourable Speaker, by now we begin to make sense of the circumstances and the events surrounding the gruesome murder of retired Col Engola, with the hope that we can find answers over time to some of the unexplained murders in this country. First, the death of retired Col Engola could have been preventable if it is held that prior to his transfer to his security detail, private security was Captain Michael Nkula's bodyguard. However, owing to his questionable behavior, his behavior, disposition, and temperament, Captain Nkula raised a red flag to the deploying authorities, causing his withdrawal. It is quite disturbing that an questionable character was redeployed before full rehabilitation. Right, Honourable Speaker, these are confessions from his commanders that had questionable, a checkered disciplinary record, and all they could do is redeploy to a very sensitive leader in this country. Not that any Ugandan is any less important, but that deployment is questionable and probably a point of investigation. Right, Honourable Speaker, ironically, the death of our colleague and his bodyguard has occurred in the month of May, in which we celebrate the International Labour Day. The month is also internationally dedicated to mental awareness. It is therefore a clarion call upon us to rise to the occasion and evoke our mandate to the two sometimes related issues now at stake by over-applying our tools of legislation. That, Honourable Speaker, there has been talk of unpleasant remuneration on part of the Eringo bodyguard. We don't seek to justify his conduct and decision in any way. We think it's time to dust the debate on the minimum wage, which has sprawled on the fence for a long time. But, Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues, Uganda is ranked among the top 6 countries in Africa in rates of depressive and anxiety disorders. According to statistics from the World Health Organization, close to 20%, that's about 6.8 million Ugandans out of the 42 million people in Uganda, have some degrees of mental illness, ranging from anxiety and depression to severe mental illness. This should be a wake-up call to the government to scale up investment in mental health and subsequently increase access to mental health services. Honourable Speaker, our armed forces are extremely vulnerable. They are never at rest. If not in Somalia, they are in Congo. If not in Congo, they are in South Sudan. If not there, in ECOMO. If not there, they are on the Swiss-beating voters and Ugandans. Where are the UPDF rehabilitation centers for these officers and men? Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker and comrades, as I conclude, the murder of our brother, Col Engola, calls for a candid conversation on the quality of inquest in this country, with the many unanswered questions that ought to be exhaustively interrogated here. It is time we invoked the Inquest Act for this and the many unresolved murders and deaths that have occurred over the years. The police should this time around and for once surprise the nation with a conclusive and believable report on the murder of our colleague. It's not enough to say that we know the murderer, the killer. No, that's not a report. So we need a believable report this time around as a surprise from the police. But Honourable Speaker, this unfortunate death should also remind the nation of one of the unresolved challenges of our armed forces since independence, namely, who is recruited? What is the mode of recruitment? What is the mode of training and deployment? This House has processed citizens' complaints relating to biased recruitment in both the police and the UPDF. Probably some of the men and women in uniform shooting our people do not deserve our uniform. You've had the concept of receive and train in the armed forces. People are supposed with questionable and checkered history because they are sent on a sheet of paper, they are recruited. This information has been here on the floor. We must take concern. Finally, Honourable Speaker, to some of the citizens, the manner of their recruitment of these men and women in uniform makes them believe that they pay allegiance to those who recommend them, not the flag. This is the time to rethink and address this serious gap that has served to undermine the quality of our armed forces. Honourable Speaker, I would like to again send my sympathies to the family and encourage you that your father has not died in vain. He has played his part. May the soul of our departed colleague rest in eternity. I beg to move.
Thank you so much, Honorable Leader of Opposition. And when we talk about mental health, Honorable Macho has always been with the Solo on issues of mental health, and we wouldn't mind if you started with us in Parliament.